Lexi Hull doing it all on that defensive possession. Clark. Oh! From another stratosphere.
There is a deafening silence across the mainstream sports media after Friday night's Indiana Fever victory, because the same analysts, reporters, and league insiders who spent the entire week defending head coach Stephanie White and dismissing concerns over the team's questionable injury reporting are now staring at a box score that completely shattered their narrative. Just 48 hours after Caitlin Clark was ruled out with a supposed back injury that sparked outrage among fans who felt misled after buying tickets and making travel plans, Clark returned to the court and delivered a brilliant 22-point performance in the Fever's 90-82 win over the previously undefeated Golden State Valkyries on national television. The performance not only reignited accusations of a front office cover-up, but also intensified scrutiny surrounding the Fever organization, as fans and critics questioned how a player deemed too injured to compete suddenly looked fully healthy and dominant less than 2 days later. Adding even more fuel to the controversy was the continued excellence of Aaliyah Boston alongside Clark, while critics accused White of ongoing coaching malpractice and internal mismanagement despite the victory, turning what should have been a celebratory win into another chapter of chaos, controversy, and growing distrust surrounding the Indiana Fever organization.
Where nobody says, now I do got to say all of this is alleged, but for her to play 32 minutes, solid 32, she had 9 assists. She could still possibly pick up this 10th assist with 41 seconds left and get another double-double. She was 7 of 15 for the field so far. She was
just 48 hours earlier. General Manager Amber Cox and head coach Stephanie White insisted that Caitlin Clark was physically unable to play against one of the weakest expansion teams in the league, citing severe back stiffness and portraying the injury as serious enough to justify a last-minute scratch that left thousands of fans feeling misled. Yet the moment the national spotlight hit against the undefeated Golden State Valkyries, Clark suddenly looked completely healthy, logging 32 intense minutes of high-usage basketball, while leading the offense with 22 points, 9 assists, and 4 made three-pointers on 46% shooting. She moved sharply, controlled the pace, and looked more dangerous than ever, raising obvious questions about how a player supposedly too injured to even suit up on Wednesday could so quickly return to dominate in one of the most physically demanding games of the season just 2 days later.
Smart passes, bro. So, no, it was Janelle Sloan and Caitlin Clark. Referees had to step in. Look at Caitlin, guys. Showing how tough she is. Hitting logo threes as well. Getting inside. Just Caitlin is so damn good, bro.
This specific box score is the ultimate undeniable smoking gun. At 4:464 minutes, 46 seconds mathematically proves exactly what WNBA Pro has been stating since the absolute beginning. The injury on Wednesday was a 4:534 minutes, 53 seconds complete fabricated PR lie. It was a premeditated load management scam designed to protect ticket sales, or at 5:025 minutes. 2 seconds was an underthought suspension levied by a highly insecure coaching staff. Caitlin Clark was perfectly healthy on Wednesday. She was maliciously benched. 5:115 minutes, 11 seconds, and when the front office realized they were facing a federal-level investigation from the WNBA League office and a massive financial boycott, 5:195 minutes, 19 seconds from the fans, they panicked, abandoned their fake medical narrative, and threw their franchise savior back onto the court to save their own jobs. And when 5:275 minutes, 27 seconds Caitlin Clark is actually allowed to operate without Stephanie White grabbing her arm on the sidelines, the entire ecosystem of the Indiana Fever, 5:365 minutes, 36 seconds completely thrives. Look at what happened. This box score is being treated by critics as the ultimate smoking gun because they believe it directly contradicts the injury narrative surrounding Caitlin Clark. They argue the performance mathematically supports what some analysts have claimed from the beginning, that the reported injury was either exaggerated to protect ticket sales through load management or tied to internal coaching decisions rather than a legitimate medical issue. According to that interpretation, Clark looked fully capable the moment she returned, immediately transforming the entire offense for the Indiana Fever. Her chemistry with Aaliyah Boston was especially dominant, as Boston delivered arguably her best performance of the season with 20 points, 16 rebounds, and complete control of the paint while benefiting from Clark's transition passing, pick-and-roll reads, and high-low feeds. Kelsey Mitchell also P.
I don't know what happened. I got to see what happened, guys. So I'm streaming the game right here on my phone. Why would the Fever call a timeout? Let me see. Oh, probably so they can run a clock. Crazy Caitlin Clark stat just came up. Let me see here.
Just 24 hours earlier, the Indiana Fever front office finally responded to months of criticism by waiving Chidori Walker-Kimbrough and signing Grace VanSlooten, a 6 feet 3 inches athletic forward who brings exactly the size, rebounding, transition speed, and defensive energy this roster desperately needs alongside Caitlin Clark. It looked like a long overdue move driven by common sense and roster balance, especially against an undefeated opponent like the Golden State Valkyries. But instead of embracing the adjustment, head coach Stephanie White played VanSlooten for just 1 minute and 44 seconds before burying her on the bench, while continuing to rely on exhausting small ball lineups that left the guards overworked and the team vulnerable physically. To many frustrated fans, it didn't look like normal rotation management. It looked personal, almost as if White was determined to reject the front office decision and prove a point rather than fully utilize a player who fits the team's most obvious needs.
Caitlin is just so much better, bro. The announcer just said, Caitlin, listen. They just said Caitlin Clark is an instant MVP candidate.
Stephanie White's own decisions completely undermine the message she delivered just a week ago. After publicly claiming she wanted to run the offense through Damiris Dantas in the high post, and using that as justification for taking the ball out of Caitlin Clark's hands, Dantas ended up receiving a completely healthy DNP, coach's decision against the league's best team, not playing a single second. To many fans, that contradiction makes the earlier press conference comments look more like an attempt to publicly humble Clark than a genuine basketball strategy. At the same time, there were legitimate concerns in the performance itself that can't be ignored. Clark committed 6 turnovers, marking her 5th straight game with at least 4 turnovers, a trend that clearly needs attention. While some mistakes came from aggressive playmaking and strong defensive pressure, the volume remains too high. The team also left points at the free throw line, shooting under 76% overall, with Lexi Hull missing 4 free throws in what could have been a much tighter game, leaving crucial points on the board.
So she's still at 16 rebounds with 24 seconds left in this one. Caitlin Clark don't look like she's going to get a double-double, but you never know. You just never know. But they out fouling, so I doubt she get it. 22, 9 and 2. 22, 9 and 2. Solid numbers, bro. Caitlin Clark been averaging 20 points a game, guys.
The Indiana Fever won the basketball game 90-82. They handed the Golden State Valkyries their very first loss of 11:35 minutes, 35 seconds this season. They are officially 4-2, and they were literally one single possession away in both of their overtime losses from being completely 11:44 minutes, 44 seconds undefeated. On paper, it looks like a massive triumph. But if you actually understand the psychology of professional sports, you know that this box score is a ticking time bomb. 11:56 minutes, 56 seconds. Caitlin Clark is currently carrying a completely broken, incredibly toxic organization squarely on her back. She 12:03 minutes, 3 seconds is playing 32 minutes a night, while her general manager trolls fans on social media, and her head coach actively sabotages new acquisitions out of pure 12:12 minutes, 12 seconds spite. The front office is currently holding their breath, desperately hoping that this 22-point masterpiece will make 12:19 minutes, 19 seconds. The WNBA league office forget about the fabricated injury reports and the consumer fraud from Wednesday night. but 12:26 minutes. 26 seconds the internet never forgets. We have the receipts. We have the timeline. We know that the back injury was a scam. We know that Stephanie White is a petty tyrant. 12:36 minutes. 36 seconds, and we know that this franchise is surviving entirely on the superhuman willpower of a 24-year-old point guard who cannot escape Indianapolis fast. 12:45 minutes. 45 seconds enough. This is WNBA Pro. Smash that subscribe button right now if you want the absolute unvarnished high-octane 12:53 minutes. 53 seconds truth about the darkest, most deceptive front office dynamics in the WNBA that the cowardly mainstream media refuses to 13:0113 minutes. 1 second cover. Drop your most explosive, unfiltered take in the comments below. 13:0613 minutes. 6 seconds. Does Caitlin Clark, playing 32 minutes, prove that the Indiana Fever faked her injury on Wednesday? And should Stephanie White be fired?